This is one of my favorite garden plants. It's a pepper. And even though it's one of my favorites, I'm the only gardener I know who grows it. But yet I know many other people that will go to a restaurant and pay some pretty good money to eat it. Join me today as I share with you the best pepper that you're probably not growing. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott, and this is the Shishito pepper. And if you haven't heard of it, don't consider yourself unlike most gardeners because it is relatively new on the gardening scene. I just discovered it 3 years ago. I've been growing it for the last 2 years, and it does extremely well in my hot, arid Colorado garden. It's a lovely pepper. It's not hot at all, but it's not really sweet, not like a bell pepper, though when you cook it, a light sweetness does come out. And that's the best way to use this pepper and how I discovered it at a restaurant. And that's how most people discover Shishitos. As an appetizer, it's delicious, seared in a hot pan to blacken the sides a little bit, and then you serve it with a nice dipping sauce like a lemon aioli. It's just beautiful. As an appetizer, well, I think it just can't be beat. And that's how I've been serving it to myself and guests all summer long. Like most peppers, the Shishito likes a rich soil in full sun. And the fruit goes from a light green to a nice rich red. And you can harvest red or green. I wait until I get the size I'm looking for. And so the size is about as long as my finger. And it's easy to separate from the plant. Some of the ones that are the same size that have changed color, I'll separate as well. And these are ideal and just the right size for dipping in a delicious sauce. I have 6 Shishito pepper plants growing here. And while they were still young, I pinched off the growing tip to get them to branch out and become bushier. And just doing a quick count, right now I'm averaging about 20 peppers per plant. So I've got over 100 peppers just from this small space. And I've already harvested at least 3 or 4 dozen. This is one of those kind of plants that the more you harvest, the more flowers and the more fruit you're going to get. The cold weather of late fall and early winter will kill this plant. They can't handle a freeze. But during the summer, it's a beautiful plant to grow. And it's open pollinated, which means I can wait for some of these peppers to turn a nice bright red, fully mature, and then save the seeds to do this all over again. And you don't need a lot of seeds because 6 plants will have given me by the end of the season at least 200 peppers, maybe even 300. Pulling the peppers from the plant works pretty well, but with scissors or pruning shears, you can come in and make pretty short work of the harvest. So I'll just come in, cut off the peppers that are suitable size for eating, and add them to my little harvest bowl. Because it's mild and has a pretty good flavor, you can substitute the Shishito in recipes that call for a hotter pepper, like a jalapeno. Though the flavor is different, if you want that pepper in your dish without the heat, Shishitos are the way to go. Now, I said it doesn't have any heat at all. I've read online that as many as 10% of the peppers have some heat. In my experience, it's only about once every 25 or 30 peppers where I'll eat it, and it'll raise my eyebrows a little bit, but nowhere near the heat level of a jalapeno. And as far as an appetizer, well, we've found that about 6 or 7 peppers per person is ideal, which is why just 6 plants can give me dozens of peppers for many, many opportunities to serve as an appetizer with a meal. And that's what I'm going to do tonight. So let me take these in and show you how I fix them up. The shishito pepper is very thin-skinned and doesn't take much time to cook at all. So it's ideal not only for a daily appetizer, but if you have somebody drop in and you want to throw something together pretty quickly, this might be the answer. So I'll show you how I do that. I have a hot skillet and I'm going to add a tablespoon or so of olive oil. Let that warm up for just a second. And then I'll put the peppers in. And it doesn't take long. What I'm looking for is a slight blistering on the outside of the pepper. I want the skin to darken in a few places and even get close to a black color. I'm cooking this over a medium-high heat. And you can hear some of the crackling and popping as the pepper begins to brown a little bit. You can see the light brown color, but that's not enough. We really want it to be a dark brown or almost black. And it's been about 3 minutes, and I'll go ahead and check, and they're actually starting to blister pretty nicely. Still a little light color, but we're going to be cooking all the sides of these peppers. So we don't need everything to cook on one side right away. And as they crack open and that pepper juice leaks out, you have that wonderful aroma of roasting peppers. About the 5-minute point, I'll just go ahead and move these around a little bit, move into areas that haven't been cooked yet. After about 6 or 7 minutes, the skins will be quite soft. I'm looking to see that they've been cooked on the different sides. Thicker, or I should say bigger ones will take a little bit longer to cook than some of the smaller ones, but these peppers are ready to go. Let's turn the heat off. So I'll pour these peppers into a bowl. And then while they're still warm, go ahead and put some salt directly on them. And the shishito pepper is so good that they're actually ready to eat right now with nothing more than salt. Oh, they really are so good with just the salt. You can ratchet up the flavor a little bit and put a little bit of lime juice on it. So we'll squeeze a little bit of lime. And it's a completely different flavor. Still pretty amazing. But I could eat these for a long time, and your guests certainly will too. And I mentioned using a dip to even add more flavor to this. Let me show you a quick dip that ratchets up the flavor even more. I'll just do a simple dip with a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of Dijon mustard, a little more of that lime juice, and then blend it all together. Now let's see the results of this. Another pepper in our sauce. This is so incredible. Seriously, you should be growing these peppers. And you try this once and you just can't get enough. Now, oh, it's so good. I use the lime juice. I also make this with lemon juice, and it's spectacular with the lemon juice as well. It's sweet, it's mild, it has a really nice flavor. I've eaten 2 of them, no heat at all. Number 3, no heat. Number 4, no heat. So I'm going to keep going and I'm going to eat these. You don't need to see me eat these delicious peppers. What you need to do is get yourself some Shishito pepper seeds. Start the plants indoors. Put them out in your garden. And then late in the summer, you'll have some delicious harvest that you just can't get enough of. Do it. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.